Yo, yo. What is up, people? All right, guys. We'll give a few minutes to let people roll in here. What's up, Goat? What is up, Udibiga? Am I saying that right? Can you guys hear me okay? It's weird. My other stream, or my other music just stopped. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? Audio okay? $23 Tails. Thanks for subscribing. Appreciate that. All right, cool. You can hear me? Thank you, Goat. What's wrong with our Wolverines? Well, we're going to look at it. We're going to look. We're going to look. Welcome, Subong Yoon. Hope I'm saying that correctly. I need to turn this music a little bit, I think. Oh, now it's... Oh, that's pretty quiet. Hold on, here we go. We'll get going in a minute here, guys. Oh, that's so loud. All right, give me a sec. I'm gonna turn down the music a little bit. All right, that's good. Okay, all right, all right. Here we go. All right, so what went wrong, right? What's going on with this defense? All right. Hold on, I'm gonna try to put the chat somewhere a little bit more meaningful on my screen. It's first time trying YouTube. I like the interface a little bit more than Twitch even, so this is nice. Gonna try to minimize this a little bit. Okay. So got the chat up, so definitely chip in with your guys' thoughts. I'm a fan just like you guys, so I just watch a lot of film, and that's that's my claim to videos. I watch a lot of it, so that's how I learn. So let's learn together. All right, it was ugly. I've watched some of these. Some of these clips will be discovering the mistakes together, so bear with me. But let's go. Play number one, and this is strictly defense and strictly bad plays. There were some good plays, but strictly defensive bad plays because everything's negative right now. So might as well, right? All right, here we go. I got to open up my pen tool as well. All right. And ignore that. Let's check our colors. We got yellow for these guys. What color should we go for Nittany Lions? Probably white. White or blue? I'm going to do white. All right, here we go. So it doesn't seem like much, but like a 9-yard run on first down just does so much for your defense, like just an insane amount, right? So the reason I include this is because they picked up like, what, 5.9 yards per carry before the kneel downs, and I think that's without sacks included. So just an insane amount of production from their 4th string and 5th string running backs here. So it was ugly, right? So what's the issue on this play? I think the first aspect is you're running a 3-3-5, and where the run goes here is exactly where the stunt for Michigan is avoiding, or I guess vacating. So you got Hinton looping around here. He's looping around here. And then you have a 3-3-5, so you have a linebacker right here, and the run is designed to come this way. So you got split zone with this guy coming across here, right? So with Hinton looping around and a linebacker here, that makes it a really easy job for this. Oops, what happened here? It makes it a really easy job for the offensive line for Penn State to knock out a linebacker here. And then they're going to have 2 free offensive linemen coming downfield here for anyone across the middle. So this is a combination of just a poorly timed stunt with the play design. Because you can see right now you have the center who's just free to get out to Barrett, who's acting kind of as the middle linebacker in this situation, right? He's the only guy there who can really make a play here. And I think Barrett actually makes a really nice play, right? He sheds 62. The center is able to get out there, but there's just no opposition, right? I don't understand, especially considering, watch what the defensive end does on the outside here. He's going to fake outside and cut inside right here. But then you're also going to have linebacker, I think this is Shibley, cutting to the outside shoulder of this guy as well. So think about the lane that creates right here with these two guys ducking outside of these two offensive linemen. And then you're going to have Hinton looping around here. So you just have essentially inside leverage for this guy, right? Inside leverage here. And then two free releasing offensive linemen downfield for one guy right here. So that's just tough. I mean, yeah, Don Brown stunts, but it's not just the stunt. It's this guy, this linebacker, taking the outside gap here where your defensive end is also going to be occupying the same space. So they're occupying the same gap here. Add in a stunt, and you're just creating a huge lane overall. So give credit to Barrett because he stops this the best way he can, right? He gets off of this free releasing center, does a good job keeping his eyes in the backfield, choosing the right side, and makes contact at 5 yards. I mean, this could have easily been worse if Barrett doesn't get off of that. I think also if you back up Vincent Gray, hold on one second. Thank you, Johnny. Johnny JCE. I can't speak. All right, so I think Vincent Gray here, he's in his zone. I think he should have flown up a little bit earlier here as well. I don't think he's the best to run support, but he's clearly in zone. He has eyes in the backfield the whole time. I don't think there's any reason for him not to react quicker here. I think right about here he should have been collapsing down. Instead, he takes like an extra shuffle here before he reacts, and that, him not reacting early enough gives maybe an extra 2-3 yards here, and that's big. That's 2nd and 10. So that extra 3 yards to make it 3rd and 1 instead of 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3. That's a big difference. So that's another thing where Gray just needs to be just more aggressive here. And there's nothing that you can really do against that. So go your question about what we can do to stop that. First is bad luck because it's either a mistake for Hinton to be doing that stunt, and you're going to get got, right? If you run stunts a lot, you're going to get the correct offensive play call for the wrong defensive play call, and that's the case here. But it also, I think, is just a mistake here for Shibley to be attacking the outside of this lineman, right? When you have a stunt on one side here from this guy, you need this guy to be essentially replacing that gap here. Instead, he's occupying the same gap that your defensive end is on run support, and that just leaves this huge gap. So one aspect is just, you are vacating a defensive lineman on a stunt, and it's just unfortunate that that is the case. But the other thing, Shibley just makes the wrong decision on the shoulder to attack of that offensive lineman, and that's a big part as well. So it's kind of twofold there. So Shibley just needs to be more disciplined on attacking the inside of that offensive lineman. And it's just unfortunate that this play call was, pretty ideally called for what Michigan was running on defense. And then if you're just more physical from Gray, right, that'll do a lot. If you get more physicality from Gray to be filling this gap right here, then you limit this at 4 yards, 5 yards, and that's okay. You live with that. Then it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, or even 3rd and 3, and that's a big difference from 3rd and 1. That's a huge difference. So that's kind of the story of that play. Gray just needs to be more physical there. And that guy it's 3rd and inches at that point. So, okay. Next one here. I don't know what this music is. Is this music kind of freaking you guys out? I don't really like that. It's way too hardcore. All right. That's a little better. Okay. Play number 2.
Fresh set of downs here. And the pass over the middle is caught by true freshman Parker Washington.
Oh, I'm over the screen still, guys. Why didn't you tell me this? My head is way too big. Oh, my God. That's embarrassing. I didn't mean to be doing that, guys. Sorry. This is the screen I meant to be doing. I'm just drawing like over my face, wasn't I? Or under my face, I should say. My bad, boys. All right, let's start play 2. We'll start play 2 right. Apologies. First time on the stream. Sorry.
Fresh set of downs here. And the pass over the middle is caught by true freshman Parker Washington. And he's grabbed.
Yeah, you guys are too nice for not commenting about that, right? Like, you guys are just like, well, I guess his face is taking up the whole screen. Sorry about that, boys. All right. So yeah, let's go through this. I didn't even watch the play. I was just too embarrassed there. Okay, so slant. Yeah, this is just sucks. This is brutal. So what does Michigan do here? Let's first look at the routes. What do we got for routes? I think we have go route like an inside. Oops, wrong color. Inside release go route on the outside, and they're gonna have like a slant, or I'm sorry, wrong one. This guy runs a slant, I think, right? Slant, and this guy's gonna run like a stick route, which is like an outside, and then he's gonna come across the middle here. So that's gonna be the route tree, right? Slant across the middle, that's what's getting thrown, and then the outside you have the go route at the top of your screen, a little stick route coming across the middle late there from 13. And obviously it gets thrown to the slant here, and it's just really poor tackling. All right, so looking at the pass rush, it's pretty quick throw, so nothing is like really going on here, like nothing of note. I think the main thing to note is how slow. I think this is Jess Spate. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Jess Spate is on a stunt here around the outside. We're gonna have Shibley kind of attacking inside an inside slant here. Then you're gonna have, or this is Ben Van Sumeren. Ben Van Sumeren is gonna come here, and then you're gonna have a late blitz out of Shibley from linebacker position. Given how late, or he's going on the other side. Sorry, he's cutting to the outside here. So look how late it is just for Jess Spate here. He is like just getting off his stance here. So he's like super late on any sort of stunt, whatever the goal is here on this stunt. It's supposed to be, oh my gosh, I have two guys crossing my face at the same time. Instead, you already have Ben Van Sumeren contacting the offensive lineman, and Spate is a good, what is this, yard and a half, 2 yards away from that. So any sort of stunt that you're trying to apply pressure here to confuse the offensive lineman, they know exactly where Spade is, right? And that's just, it just takes way too long to get there. Besides that, it's just a late developing blitz for Shibley. He has to go all the way around here. I think this is Mozzie Smith here, not getting any ground, but like nothing really going here, right? They have more than enough bodies. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to block against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they match the bodies, and 2 of which in your stunt here from Spate and your blitz from Shibley around the outside here. That's just too late. So that's just, it's just not going to work with how quick this throw is, right? No pressure at the point of attack here. So besides that slant, which is number 1 read, you can see the eyes for Clifford. That's his number 1 read. Sorry, I got to move this over. This is number 1 read right here. He's reading this all the way. And I think that's just a matchup they like, right? Brad Hawkins one-on-one coverage, and they get the inside there. So thing I see continually from the safeties, they're really flat-footed. And I think this is where you're missing your position coach, but like I don't think there's any reason to just stand there flat-footed, right? You should be shuffling. If you're shuffling your feet, you're able to react better. At least that's, I'm not a technique master, but it's really hard to go from completely flat-footed to a guy who has momentum, is able to plant his foot in the ground and then take off, right? Number 3, if you watch the wide receiver, and I should be marking the screen. This is just what I'm looking at, this motion here. And it's just like, it's really hard to go from flat-footed from defensive back to a guy who already has momentum, plants his foot in the ground to redirect. Like, that's just a losing battle, right? Like, what do you do if you're Hawkins in that case and you're flat-footed? So I think just feet movement a little bit better, because we even saw this with Dax Hill later on. He got burned by this a couple times too, where it's not bad coverage, but you're going to lose that route every time, especially if you're flat-footed. So outside of those guys, everyone else is well covered. Barrett's on the tight end. You have the go route at the top of your screen looking good. So that's just hard to defend against, but I think the technique could have been a little bit better, and that's where you missed your positioning coach. And then issue number 2 is tackling. This was a huge issue all game, but you have Dax Hill coming down, and he needs to wrap up, right? Here he delivers just a blow. He doesn't truly wrap up there, not able to get him down. And then the rest is just further missed tackles here. I don't know if it's necessarily a lack of coaching. It's just a lack of details. It could be a lack of coaching, but like schematically they're there. And then it's just poor tackling throughout, right? Like Vincent Gray not able to wrap up here. And these are just the little things, right? That's an extra yard. Shibley not able to put a lick on that. That's not, like just little things like that, that kind of like, you think of confidence as well. Like that's a pretty confidence-inducing play if you're that wide receiver. He just shed 2 tackles there, out running. Barrett didn't think he had to get on that because he had 2 guys going. And then you have Vincent Gray coming up for a stick and can't wrap him up. And then it's just kind of deflating overall. Basically, pretty much, who do you want to see replace Don Brown? I don't know, man. I don't know. We can wait till the end for questions like that. I'll get to them, but wait for the question. Wait till the end for that. Yeah, I think Dax is still a little small, but I mean, maybe. I don't know, man. I think he's okay. And there again, what was I saying? Same exact thing here. What are the routes on this one? I think you got a seam route, a go route. Wait, a seam and a go route. I think I marked this one wrong. Let's look at the routes first. Yeah. It's hard to say. I think this top guy might be on like a hitch route. He might be just like stopping at the sticks here. This guy's definitely going up the seam. And then you have a slant here. And then it's hard to tell what this guy's doing. It is just a lack of execution overall, Crispy Bagel. I don't know if it's being lazy. I don't know. Those are things that are just really hard to answer, right? Like effort and like being lazy. Those are just kind of hard to distinguish. But this is the route tree. It was a really sloppy route tree. Again, it's a quick throw, right? Little play action fake here. I was trying to see if this was an RPO, but I don't know who he's looking at. I think this is like a throw all the way. Maybe if this guy was like shaded inside, he would give here. But I think this is play action all the way just based on the blocking here. Like it's not zone blocking or anything. They're clearly pass blocking. So this is play action all the way. For the pass rush, you got another stunt here. Defensive line this way. I think this is Mozzie Smith. They're going to have a loop around for Hinton. They're going to have Ross coming. And then off his butt, you're going to have Shibley as well. And then just defensive ends are coming upfield as well. Again, it's a quick throw. So any sort of pass rush that you're looking for, it's really, really tough when you're just throwing a slant, right? What's a quicker throw than that, especially off the play action, just boom. And the running back does a good job on Ross here to pick him up. One thing I don't really like about this, why is Ross like kind of slowing down here, Like I get maybe he's trying to break down whether he should be tackling this guy. But like he seemingly has a pretty clear path to the running back here. Maybe he's getting chipped more than I'm giving him credit for. But like at this point, he should just be blowing this up, right? Like this is a mesh point, blow that up. Come flying in here, disrupt this. And it's just, it's just kind of crazy. So yeah, and you're right. The alignment here on the outside here, that just gives a lot of field here, especially when you're sending pressure here. You're not going to have anything disrupting this passing lane. But generally, Dax Hill is a guy who you should be able to make this up. Even on a tough slant like this, Dax Hill is the guy, like the one safety that can cover this. He ran a 4.3 flat in the 40, and he had like a low 4 in the shuttle, or like even maybe in the 3s. Something insane. He's an insane athlete. So again, I think this comes down to technique. These guys haven't been coached up, right? Like where's Bob Shoop? He's not on campus to coach up the safeties. And let's watch his all right, so with the pass rush, running back picks up Ross. That throw across the middle, obviously, it's a quick throw, so none of the pass rush is going to get there. So now let's watch the technique of Dax Hill, right here. And watch his feet especially. That's what I like to look at here. Again, he's shuffling a little bit better here, but he's not able to react in time. And I don't know why. It seems like he's like a little late to react there. Maybe he's like nervous of the double move, but watch, like that guy clearly plants there, takes another step, and you have a shuffle out of Dax Hill right there. See that first shuffle right there? He's not right. He doesn't turn his hips and run right now. He only runs after the shuffle. So he's shuffling his feet, shuffling his foot, shuffling his feet, and then he does like a little side shuffle right there. You can see his left foot here is replacing his right foot. But at this point, this guy's already committed, right? He's already planted right here. And you have that extra shuffle, and that's all you need. That's all you need to get that separation. Dax Hill's still a great athlete, but if you're that late reacting, you add that extra shuffle to the right there instead of just a turn and run, and that's exactly the separation you need to get there. So, I mean, good tackle, right? But that's another thing where I think it's just like a little bit of technique. Like either he's not trusting his read, he's not trusting his technique. I think that just there's enough evidence to say that that's like a thing with this defense right now. All right, that's it. Play 4.
Junior quarterback from Cincinnati, Clifford giving it to Lee.
Again, this doesn't like seem like much, but like it's not like a big play, but it's 9 yards, right? 9 yards as they're driving downfield, and that just kills you. That just kills you as a defense. Like that just hurts. And this one, I love this angle. This is such a great angle for a play that is so heavily reliant on gap integrity. All right, that's what we're going to learn on this play, and this is the perfect angle for what actually happens on this play. All right, so I'm just going to roll through it a couple times, and let's look at the left side first, okay? Left side, I'm just going to split, oops, wrong color. I'm just going to split the field right here, all right? This is where the problem happens, and there's one player in specific, but let's look specifically at the left side of the field here, okay? Here's the gaps that the guys are responsible for. You have 23 Barrett on the outside. Get the outside shoulder here, block off this gap here. Gabe Newberg, 99, right? That's who that is. He's going to be responsible for this gap. Jeter, good job from him. He's already established his head to the outside of this offensive lineman. He's in this gap. And they're going to have Shibley. He needs to fill this gap, this backside A gap, essentially is what it is. So now you have every single gap here for the offense. That's occupied from a Michigan defender, right? They all do well here. And let's move forward and backwards here. They all do well, right? Every gap there, if that play is running to any of those gaps, that it is accounted for. There is nowhere on that side of the field for the running back to go. And the key thing to look for here is the helmet placement, right? Even though they're engaged, all these guys are engaged. One thing I would like to see Gabe Newberg a little bit more north and south, right? His hips are turned a little bit more towards this way, right? He's getting turned sideways. That's a little bit scary because that gives up a lot of leverage this way for the offensive lineman. Where Jeter's doing a better job of staying a little bit more square, Shibley as well, staying square, keeping his eyes in the backfield as well. It's hard to see when you're looking inside this way when you have the helmet right here. Being more square just allows you to stack and shed a little bit better. So, but in general, these gaps are well defended on the backside. So let's back up. Let's go to the front side, okay? And we'll start on the outside here. So Kwity Paye, similar to the outside over here for Barrett. Kwity Paye has the outside here, so he has gap integrity on the outside, nothing to the outside of him. Ross has the play side B gap, Phil right here. So then you would have Hinton, he just has play side A gap, right? And then you'd have similar thing where these gaps are filled, nowhere for the running back to go. That's the goal. All right, so let's watch the right side here. Paye does a good job, and notice how Paye just gets his hands on him, dispels him a little bit, and Paye is just shuffling inside, right? Paye has this outside. Anything coming to the outside, Paye is there. Good technique. He has it. He stays square, right? Look at his feet. He's pointed this way, so he's able to react if anything comes outside of him. He's doing the right thing here. Even Ross is engaging now, but watch Ross's head, right? He's fighting to the inside there. You can see Ross fighting to the inside. So the issue here, if you haven't been able to tell, is Hinton, all right? Hinton attacks his guy head up here, but then he shucks his guy to the exact gap that he needs to be, right? If we look right here, Ross is doing the right thing, fighting to the inside here, this inside B gap. Hinton, he did like correctly dispel of 73 here, but his issue is he took the same gap that Ross did through that motion, right? What does that do? Shibley's correctly in his play side A gap. Backside A gap. Hinton decided to take the B gap where Ross is responsible. And that leaves this exact gap where no one is there. Right? So that's all it takes. That's all it takes is that one guy, Hinton, instead of, shucking to his right there, shucking the guy to Hinton's right, his head is in the right spot. If he just keeps his feet moving here and moves forward, Instead, he plants his feet and has to shuck him off, and he shucks him in the wrong direction. So that's huge. And that's the only gap that guy needs, right? Give credit to Shibley for getting on the tackle. You had Dax Hill who came down for the tackle as well. But that gap, that lack of gap integrity for Hinton, that's all that space that 24 running back needs to pick up, 5 yards before contact. Shibley falls off. Good job from him. And then you have Dax Hill coming down and Barrett as well. But that's huge, right? If Hinton is there is nowhere for that running back to go. And that's maybe a 1-2 yard gain at most. So that just goes to show you gap integrity, disciplined football. And they didn't have it. So I love that play just because, or that angle, because you don't often get that angle, and that shows just how important something like that can really be. All right, play number 5.
10th play of this outstanding opening drive for Penn State.
This one's brutal. I honestly don't really know what happened here. Okay, let me see which angle is better here. I like the other angle. You get more players here. Yeah, so this is like, it's tough. So what's the play design for Penn State? Okay, let's look at play design for Penn State first. Single block here. You're gonna have a double on the nose tackle, Jeter, and then these two blocks just want to turn these guys to the outside, right? Turn these guys to the outside, and then it's gonna be like a little read here. I don't know if he's technically reading. We didn't see Clifford run a whole lot on anything other than scrambles or designed quarterback runs. So I don't know for sure if this was a read. He didn't do any like zone reads that I could tell. So I think this is probably just a straight up give, but it's going right here, right between this double team and these blocks on the outside. Okay. You can see it's executed really well, because there's no one there to touch him into the end zone. So I don't look in play side, like nothing works well for Michigan in this case, right? What are like the cardinal sins of defensive linemen? Keep your hips parallel to the line of scrimmage, right? Or I guess keep yourself pointed perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. And what I mean by that is keep your hips, or like when they're initially pointed this way, this is what you want to be pointed at, because if you're pointed this way, then you can react either way depending on where the play is going. As soon as you get turned a single way, that creates a lot of space as well, right? An offensive lineman pointing this way takes up a lot more space just with his butt than if he's sideways and able to get leverage outside. It's never a good thing for a defensive lineman. You lose all sort of leverage, you lose all sort of spacing that you need on the defensive line there. So looking at the bottom of your screen here, for these two blocks, which again, I said these guys just want to turn their guys to the outside, they accomplish that. It's less of an indictment on Barrett here, because technically Barrett has outside leverage and outside contain, and he doesn't really give that up, but no reason for Jeter to get pulled around like this, right? Look at that. Look at that gap and that right side of the edge here. There's no chance of Jeter ever making this play, right? So that's a big reason why the right side of this gap was formed. The other issue is half RPS and half just like, I don't know, not good. And I'm looking strictly at defensive line here still. Nothing really to do on this side, right? You have Ross coming up. He's reading off of this read here, like this. Technically, he has outside contain over here, so he's kind of like irrelevant in my opinion on this play, and these guys don't really have a chance backside. The issue here is Jeter is crossing the face here. He's crashing inside here. You can watch his first step here. So let's do that. Let's watch his first step. You can see he's crashing inside, and that plays exactly into this double team. That's a tough double for these two guys to get out there, right? Based on his alignment, he's shaded outside of this guard even. For both these guys to get out here on a double, that's generally hard to do if you have Jeter coming upfield. He makes it easy, and I'm not saying this is on him because I think it's probably the call. He's making it easier because his initial step takes him this way. That's the less time it takes for these guys to get over there and execute their double. So the momentum here of Jeter makes this an easier play for that double team. You can see they get good movement here. Okay. I think in general, you would expect 71 here to drop off of this initial double team, drop off and get this linebacker. But Shibley makes things worse by also getting out of position here. I don't know what he's reading or why he's vacating this spot. Again, look at like just the gap of integrity that you need. If the call is to have Jeter go this way, right? He's vacating this area, right? Like this lane here. You have technically Jeter here, but you're essentially leaving this gap between this right guard and this right tackle completely open, right? You would expect your linebacker who's lined up here to be responsible for filling this gap. At least that's what I would expect with this defensive lineman vacating that area. But instead, where is Shibley going? And I don't know what he's reading here. There's no pulls. There's nothing. He's going exactly right behind Jeter. So he gets lost in this double team here for reasons that I just don't understand, right? I just don't get that. So Shibley's just completely taken out of the play, and that double team doesn't even have to get to him because of where Shibley goes. Imagine here if Shibley is able to recognize this double, right? 71 is looking right at him. He should be able to see this motion, and in the film, he should know this guy is coming here because you have the option out here, and that's the call, right? If Shibley is able to recognize that and attack off the butt of Jeter right here, attack off the butt, attack 71, right? Attack 71. Then you, and key aspect of that as well that I should mention, keep your outside arm free, right? His hat should be on the left side of 71, right here. That's where his hat should be. Keep his outside arm free. Imagine if that happened. Now, it still might not work with how hard Kemp lost on this, but him attacking 71 there, that fills that gap that running back is looking for, and it doesn't allow 71 to seal off. Look at how 71 right here seals that off. Instead, you would have Shibley attacking right about here, and that plugs up that gap. And it forces the running back, maybe to bounce, maybe fight through traffic. No saying what he would do. So it's hard to say. And I don't really know where Dax Hill's going either. I think maybe he's expecting like another slant here, and he's going to like help over here if it's a play action pass from these two guys or something like that. But the motion of Dax Hill doesn't help either. With both Shibley, it just doesn't make sense for both these guys to be vacating this area. I think it's mainly on Shibley to replace the stunt or the motion off the snap for Jeter. And as a result, you have no one in that gap at all. That double team's able to get Jeter. Kemp's edged off, and that's an easy no-touch touchdown. So that's it. All right, we'll take a sip of water. All right, real quick, guys, if you can subscribe to the channel, we're getting close to 2,000. You guys have been helping out the channel a lot. We've grown a ton in the past, 2 weeks. But if you like this sort of content, let me know. And I can continue to do live streams. It's easier for me because then I don't have to edit it a whole lot. I can just upload the live stream. But either if you're watching live or if you're watching later on, if you can subscribe to the channel, that would help a ton. All right, let's go.
He has right now. Had a touchdown against Iowa last week.
Oh, this one bugs the hell out of me, guys. And I'm not even going to look at anything other than numbers here, all right? This is fine. Whatever happens here is irrelevant, right? The main thing to look at, you have one defensive back in... okay, you have three wide receivers, one defensive back. You have Barrett coming back here, and then Reynolds, I think, back here. This is Jalen Harrell, who's a freshman defensive end type, who's like a quasi linebacker right now, maybe the Uche role. And this is just terrible. Look at the time of this throw, where anyone is. I'm okay with walk-ons starting. This has nothing to do with walk-on. So we can get to that walk-on discussion later on. But look at the time of the snap, or at the time of the throw, right? When he's starting to throw, you have exactly one defensive back within 15 yards. This is your one defensive back, Vincent Gray, within 15 yards of this. And it's 2nd and 6. It's 2nd and 6. What is happening here, man? I don't know. This is a free 6 yards, right? And then because all you need are 2 blocks. And you need this block on Vincent Gray. And then look at how poorly set up this is for Jalen Harrell. I don't blame him. He has to get out here. He's like supposed to be a defensive lineman down the line. He has to come out here and look at the inside leverage this guy has. This guy can just wait as this throw is to 3, and 3 just has to split these 2 blocks, and it's a free 6 yards. Right? Oops. How did that even pull up? Sorry. So that's a free 6 yards. Look at that. Boom. Vincent Gray needs to be like fighting off of that a little bit better, right? But Jalen Harrell, like, I can't expect. Jalen Harrell actually blows his guy the hell up, right? Jalen Harrell to 32, boom, blows his guy up. So good job from him for fighting through the contact. He actually makes the tackle there. So I'm not mad at Harrell. They're just not set up well, right? This isn't anything like executed poorly on. Like, it's even tough for Vincent Gray. I'd like to see Vincent Gray do a little bit better through that contact. But like when your safeties are set up 15 yards deep on this play, when you have 3 wideouts here, right? 3 wideouts, you're just asking for a screen pass. That's just a schematic disadvantage that Penn State is like, sure, I can get 1 block. The second block, this guy doesn't even do anything, right? This guy just has to be a body. This guy doesn't even have to put on a good block. This is the only block that really matters. Just don't mess up. And then beyond that, it's just like that's a free 6 yards, right? Contact because Hawkins coming up or Reynolds coming up and the contact is made at the first down marker. Sure, I'll take 6 yards. Thank you very much. So that just infuriates me. I really don't understand it. I just don't understand it. It's just, it's crazy. That's just crazy to me that is how they line up on 2nd and 6 against a trips on your left there. I don't get it. All right.
As well, it's been not shockingly a little crazy.
Back on the field is
Oh boy. The number of missed tackles in this game, man, it's brutal. It's brutal. And again, Michigan's like running a lot of stunts here. Like, this is a lot to unpack here, right? On the defensive line, like they're trying a lot of exotic things. With how quick these throws are, it doesn't matter, right? Pay, for all intents and purposes, at the top of your screen here, he just destroys his man, right? He just gets right around like 7-8 yards. He's on the quarterback, right? Watch Pay. Boom, 79. Pulls him down. That's an All-American move right now, right there. He can't get to the quarterback faster, right? That's the most you can expect out of a defensive end. He just absolutely demolishes that guy. Real OT, do I think Jim is going to get fired? Jim Harbaugh will never get fired. He may leave. He is not going to get fired. He is not. I'll stand by that. I don't think that's appropriate, but that I feel he will never get fired. He will walk away at some point. But anyway, back to the play. So, what's the stunt like design here? All right. It's going to have Pay just absolutely demolishing this guy around the corner. Good job from him. You're going to have Ross diving inside of this guy, right? This guy right here, he wants him to take that. And then you're going to have Shibley. Mitch, man, what's up? I got to send you that email, Mitch. I'll send that over to you. And then Shibley coming around to the outside here through this gap. So the main goal here is for Ross to act like a fullback here, right? Get this offensive lineman to take on the block, and then Shibley's going to come around to the around the outside here between these 2 offensive linemen who are occupied by these 2 guys. Then you have a free shot, right? I won't really look at the bottom of the offensive line. Nothing's really going there. You do have like a stunt out of Hinton, but nothing really comes through. Technically, this would work if it was a longer developing play because Shibley is getting in there. And yeah, good. I'm with you, Crispy Bagel. When you're throwing these slants, these easy slants, first read slants, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing a defensive line can do. That is everything Pay can do to get there. And he got there. Pay it just absolutely demolished his guy. But what are you going to do? And I'm bummed we don't really see the coverage here. But obviously this guy just has a free slant. And my theory is because Michigan is scared of the fade routes, right? Because there were a ton of fades that Michigan got burned on against Michigan State, and their defensive backs need a lot of help. That's why they're having these safeties so far deep to help on any sort of fade routes here, because then they're in a better position to help out on any of those fade routes, right? The more depth you have, the easier it is to react to an outside throw like that. So that's my thought process. But like anything else, you take one advantage. So the advantage that the alignment there helps you on the fades if you're a safety, that's a disadvantage in another way, in this case, the slant, right? Since you're lined up more, you get a free release, quicker release out of him, and just a ton of open space here. And them trying to generate a pass rush, again, if you have Shibley backing up here into this slant, that forces the quarterback to maybe go to a second read, or at least wait a little bit longer for this guy to cross the field, right? Instead, with all the pressure Michigan's bringing here, it's actually counteractive. Because with how quick it is, you're vacating an area of the field that would otherwise be occupied from your safeties. So, I mean, it's just tough, right? Like what do you do? With a quick route like that, they're banking on it not being a quick route. Like, they need this to be a longer read because of the blitz. It's not a longer read with the alignment of the safeties as well. That's just an easy pitch and catch, right? He's got plenty of room there. So I think Vincent Gray has to recognize that a little bit earlier too. So again, this is where, like, Vincent Gray in this scenario, he's acting as like a safety back here, right? This is where you really miss your safeties coach. Little things like that, like alignment, like that's huge. And that's huge on this play, right? Why is Vincent Gray only now coming up on that, right? Like, that is insane. Like, what is that? So I can't tell you why. But I can tell you that's not good, right? I can tell you that's giving that up is not great. And then that's just like schematically not good. And then you need Vincent Gray to make this tackle, right? It's at the 41, all right? He misses it first. And then what is everyone else doing here? Attack this guy. Look at all the bodies that are like breaking down here, right? They're all like breaking down. Attack the shit out of this guy, right? Like, you should be decimating this guy. And they're all kind of just like dancing around it. Like, I just don't understand. They're running away from the guy. I don't know. So that's just like a bunch of missed tackles. I mean, he is eventually tackled at the same area, but like Vincent Gray misses 2 tackles. There's just like a lack of like wanting to attack. And I just don't really like, that's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know. So like to schematically have that easy of a slant, pick up, 12, 13 yards, and then just to miss all these tackles and nothing is going right? Nothing is going right. Eventually, Shibley, good job from him and Dax Hill to come back and make the tackle there. But that's just, it's just not good. Sorry, I'm catching up on the chat here. I will say Jim will be fired after the season. And guys don't get fired after like Xavier Worthy. I don't know. It's tough to compete with Bama, regardless of where you're at. Everyone knows you blitz. Quarterback's throwing quick. Yeah, I mean, I can't really disagree with that. What's with the free release with Penn State wide receiver on the outside? Why do we have no one lined up on him? Is that this play? I'm not sure what play that was. Miss Aaron B. Thomas? Yeah, absolutely. If everyone would just run longer developing plays, then Tom probably be successful, but you don't. Yeah, you're not wrong. If you think Brent Venables is leaving Clemson for Michigan, I don't know. Okay, play 8. We got 20 plays. I got to speed this up.
And its game against Temple canceled today. 3rd down and 8. Clifford throws and has a man across the 45.
Nice hit from Barrett, at least, right? Okay, 3-man rush. This is to the point where I've cut these plays. I haven't watched them in detail, so we're going to learn together here, so bear with me. 3-man rush. I mean, what do? You got, what is that, initially like 6 people? 6 people in protection here initially with the running back. So you're not really going to get pressure. At least give some credit for Kemp getting around the outside at, 7-8 yards. So good job from Kemp. He actually like flushes him a little bit here. But you have Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna badger the pass rush here, right? So you got 3 against 6. Like, what are you gonna do? It's tough for Pay to get there. Kemp actually forces Clifford to run up and to the right here, and you just have 8 in zone coverage here for Michigan. You should be able to do this, right? So then you have Clifford coming out here. We don't even get like a really good angle, I don't think, of the routes. Let me go to another angle here real quick. Yeah, you don't really get like a good angle on routes from either of these angles. All we can really tell is you have like a short route here at the top of your screen here, and then probably like a seam or something, maybe like a deep out, and then we can't even tell really what these guys are doing. So this is a really bad camera angle as well. Okay, sorry, I was wrong. That guy, the guy here on the inside is doing like a slant route or something, or like a cross route in the middle. So Clifford runs up, nothing really, it looked like nothing was really going well. This is my issue. So you have, like, why is there no one on that guy, right? Like, who is Dax Hill covering here? Right? Like, we never really see it, right? Maybe this other angle will show a little bit better. But, like, where is Dax Hill going? Right? Like, who is he afraid? And even Barrett. Like, where does Barrett think anyone is right now? Right? There's no one entering his zone. I mean, I get it. He has the deep middle. But this is, again, where I just feel like not having a position coach there really hurts you because, like, there's no one even close to him. And this isn't on him. I think this is on Dax Hill because, like, again, Dax Hill, keep everything in front of you, right? It seems like he's in a deep third, right? So you have deep third here for Dax Hill. But, like, when you see Clifford rolling out, you need to identify a guy, and you're out of your zone at that point, right? When a guy starts scrambling like that, you identify a guy and stick with him because it goes from your initial read should be zone, and then as soon as it's scramble mode, these guys aren't running their traditional routes, right? They're going to be off and doing their own thing. You have to map to a guy, and no one maps to this guy. And that's just what happens here, right? Dax Hill comes down eventually, but then he's able to get an extra 5 yards. And it's just a team that just like isn't well prepared in either facet, it seems. I'll give him credit. Fades were not an option. Michigan's defensive backs did really well on those in single coverage on those. I think Green was a Pro Football Focus All-American this game, or he was like highest graded. I think he had a really, really good game. Even Dax Hill on one-on-one coverage did really well. But when they're running these zone concepts, they're just missing something. And I think it's really showing on a lot of these clips the miss of a position coach in Bob Shoop. I don't know S702 what happened to him. It seems like it's health related or family related. So I'm not like criticizing Bob Shoop. It's just a really bad situation to be in, like in general. Regardless of the situation, I'm not going to bash a guy for not being there for whatever reason, but him not being there, like I'm going to complain about the lack of production from a position group, position group because of the lack of coaching there. Like that's just a reality regardless of the situation. All right, play number 9.
The box for Michigan. Another run play. Holmes. And he's
Missed tackles, man. Again, you're 2nd and 8. If you can keep them to 3rd and 5, right? 3rd and 5, you're money. That's where you want to be. Okay. Oh yeah, I remember this play. This is like a sad rewatch to keep going through these, man. I'll tell you what. So, all right, what's the story here? Again, we're watching these a lot together. So this is split zone. Okay. Split zone, you're going to leave, and this is really smart to do against a really good defensive end like Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye is going to come upfield here. You're just going to have a guy with momentum coming across. You're kind of H-back, your tight end here. Sorry. I had an alert that someone signed in to my account elsewhere, but it was a different account. So, sorry. So, you have Kwity Paye coming upfield here, and you're going to have this guy coming across the field here. Everyone else is going to be blocking to their right? So, you're going to release, try to block right. Release, try to block right. This guy's actually going out to a linebacker, block to the right. You're going to have double team here on Hinton, single block here, and then the hole is just going to be right here, right? That's where you want to go. So that's the aim of the play. Okay. And it works, right? So couple things wrong here. The double team against Hinton absolutely just demolishes him, right? Hinton is also fighting the wrong gap here on the double. And when I say wrong gap, I don't think it's wrong necessarily for him to be attacking that gap, but it's wrong in the case of like an RPS loss, right? Because you have these two guys just trying to get motion this way, and the initial step is with that motion for those two offensive linemen. So that's a really tough double to deal with, but he does get moved there, right? Backside, there's nothing really to like write home about here. Like these guys are all just fine. Like it doesn't matter. Crispy Bagel. I don't think he was actually reading this a whole lot. Like I think they were I don't remember a single keep off of a zone read overall. I mean, you could say with the eyes of Clifford, he held the read guys in check pretty well, and I wouldn't disagree with you there, but I don't think these were like official reads. Okay. Upshaw also gets like moved really, really badly. So he loses leverage here. He's like a little bit too strung out. He loses the hand battle here. Look how like kind of strung out here he is. And that gives enough leverage for this guy to get a lot of good movement. And that'll form the right side of this hole. So between the double, between this, that forms this hole right here. And then a good block from here. I thought that Pay could have done a little bit better job of attacking that, right? He's like still watching. And then he doesn't really like challenge that block. Right? If he's able to take this momentum and even like just take an extra step, right? He recognizes this guy is coming. At least I think he does. And just barrel into him right here, right? Clog this up a little bit. Make this a little bit tougher of an avenue. Instead, he waits, right? He shuffles, and that gives a lot of ground that this guy covers because of that. And that gives much more of a lane for that running back. Notice how he waits for the block. If he attacks that block, that clogs sort of this running lane right here. Imagine instead of being able to go up and around here, if you displace that right here, what's this guy going to do? Either he has to bounce right into Pay, he has to like kind of like shuffle around. There's much more traffic to work through. So I think Pay could have done a little bit better job, and that's rare that I ever say that. The issue here, so like you have your offensive line or your defensive lineman attacking inside of these guys, right, with both Hinton and Upshaw, but you don't have any of your linebackers filling those gaps, right? With Upshaw going out here, you have Pay going to the outside here. There's a gap right off of this shoulder here that this linebacker should be filling, right? He should be filling this. And I don't know where his eyes are going, right? Maybe he's reading the running back who's initially coming here and then coming back. And that's, I think, what happens because he initially shuffles this way. He's just late to actually fill this gap. And it's weird because, like, I don't know. If he's looking just, like, in general in the backfield, he should see this guy coming across, right? I know they've been burned by their reads in the past, but watch Ross here especially. Ross is shuffling, and then he's late, right? That's the key to this play. He's late. He's late getting over there and he misses the tackle, right? That's the play, and it's on Ross. So if Ross is able to, like, instead of shading over that much, again, I don't know like what he's reading or where he thinks this play is supposed to go, because you also have Barrett over here, right? It's not like Barrett doesn't exist if the run is over to this side. He should be staying like right where he is and then filling this gap that's left from his defensive lineman. Again, it's just gap integrity, right? There's a gap left here from these guys and their movements. Instead, he's not doing that. He shuffles way too much, and then he has a tough path now, right? He's just not, and he reacts late, right? Like right now, what are you looking at, man? Right? Like, why are you still shuffling? He should be like, boom, I see this. This is headed right here, right? There's no question where this is headed now. I need to attack now. But watch, he shuffles. He's still shuffling. Shuffle. Only now does he decide to attack, and by then it's just too late. So I just don't get it. Like, what are you looking at, man? Like, he's in his own head, I think, right? Let's go to this angle. If he's able to fill that gap, right, I think right now he should be, like, maybe right here, right? If he's able to, like, recognize that, shuffle back over, he should be, like, right here. If he's able to do that and fill this up, that's maybe, like, a yard, maybe two. At least if he makes contact, he's able to get like more help more quickly. But since he's not able to really get anything on that running back, he's able to pick up, more than enough yards here for the first down. And then he makes another guy miss. But I don't, that's on Ross. That should have been like a 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6, maybe even 3rd and 7 if he makes a good play. Instead, he puts a spin move on and he gets first down. So that's just brutal, right? Like, what do you do? All right, play 10.
For Penn State, they've got almost 200 yards of total offense here in the first half. And the keeper by Clifford. Clifford heading.
Touchdown. Okay. Ooh, I love this angle. We get an all 22 angle. These are super rare because getting all 22 angles is just like the most impossible thing in the world. So you can actually see every single player on the field, and this is like just amazing. It's just exactly what you want. Okay, so what's the issue here? Oh, yeah, I remember this. Hold on, I need to confirm who this is before I call him out because I don't want to flame someone for something they didn't do. Yep, it was Jess Spate. Okay. So Jess Spate just gets absolutely demolished here. Okay. Watch Jess Spate here. And sorry, I should circle him. I'm looking at him, and you guys are like, who's Jess Spate, right? Watch him, 67 right here. All right, that's the guy to watch. He just gets absolutely manhandled, right? And look at where that play is going, right? That's exactly where he needs to be. So this is just, he gets displaced to where Kemp is. All right, that's just brutal. So he gets all the way displaced. I could run through that hole, right? So I don't fault Kwity Paye here. He's just fighting this guy. This is just too huge of a gap for him to fill here. Linebacker's in the right spot. You just have a free releasing offensive lineman who picks him up. And then these guys, Mozzie Smith and Kemp, they're backside, so they can't reasonably expect to be here. This is just, and I'm not even going to look at here. You have one-on-one coverage out here, so it's tough for these guys to like make an impact here. So this is for sure just Jess Spate getting owned, not bottling up the gap here that Clifford is running towards here. It's tough for Kwity Paye to do anything here. You could argue that you want to see your linebacker, I'm guessing this is Shibley here, do a little bit better on the free releasing guy, but that's tough. The key component of this play, let's move forward and backwards here. Key component of this play is this running back, right? It's a well-designed play where it looks like, and also think of the fades, right, that Michigan's been running. That's, this looks like a fade here, so you're going to have one-on-one coverage. There's nothing to do here. This guy's just going to roll out here to occupy Daxton Hill. And then key aspect is this running back. He's going to go out to the flat, and what that does is that takes, I believe this is Barrett, that takes him out to the flat as well, and that's what takes the one more out of the box you need for your linebacker flowing for your offensive lineman who's going to release and pick him up, and that's going to really open up this lane here for Clifford. And then from there, you just have to, beat Vincent Gray one-on-one, and that's, a cornerback that Michigan is putting at safety here because you want Dax Hill as your cover guy. So you're sacrificing your best safety to essentially cover no ground or nothing out here. And instead of having your best safety on a quarterback in the open field, you have a cornerback who was trying to go out there for whatever reason. And then, the rest I'm not even going to really criticize. This is just a well-designed play, and these two guys are not able to get off their blocks quick enough here. So this is just a good play design, well executed. Jess Spate just gets absolutely demolished, and that's kind of like the main difference in this play. Then even at the end of the play, though, I want to see Vincent Gray throw a lick on the quarterback, right? Dive at this guy, right? Why Vincent Gray doesn't dive here, that's just lazy, okay? If you want to call that lazy, there was a play with Daxton Hill last week, I would have called that. I think this play, you can get him out of bounds here. Vincent Gray is diving at his feet. You gotta dive right there. You gotta dive at him. So that made me a little bit angry, but that's tough. Okay, I have to render this next play. Now we're past the plays that I have rendered, so this will take a minute. My computer's being fast today. So when I say a minute, it's only like 20 seconds. So that's good. We're about halfway through. How you guys feeling? Not great? What are you talking? Michigan's cursed, fan base too delusional and arrogant. We have terrible karma, and the football gods won't let us win anything special. I'm usually not like a football gods, like we're cursed, whatever, but like there's a lot of luck involved on like what makes a successful team, and you know what defines success and not. And timing, there's a lot of timing that comes with hiring the right guy at the right time. Michigan hasn't done that. It's been unfortunate with the rivals that Michigan has had too and their success. And anyway, play 11.
So the Sooners are playing great football right now. 2nd and 7. Clifford. Complete for...
All right, what happened here? Again, Michigan just sending a lot of pressure. 5? Yeah. But this is like max protect for Penn State, right? This sucks, Fire Harbaugh. You guys are funny. All right, how many you got in for protection for Penn State? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so this is anyone that ever says in the past couple of weeks that like Michigan hasn't gotten pressure. It's because teams are throwing slants when you have 7 guys protecting, right? It's like, come on, you're not going to get pressure here. They are sending Ross here. I don't think there's any slants. Let me back up. I don't think there's any stunts going on. Yeah, there's a little stunt going on. What am I saying? There's a stunt. You're going to bring Hinton around here. Kemp's attacking the outside here. Then you're going to have Josh Ross attacking here. Nothing really gets through. Again, you have 7. I think you're going to have Barrett coming late because he is on one-on-one on his key as the running back. So he's going to try to apply pressure because this guy's staying in on pass blocking. Get out of here, Blake. I mean, you can stay. You're bringing up my viewer count. But could I ban you? Ooh, I could put you on timeout. Okay, or I could just hide you. So you can behave, Blake. All right? Blake, you might get timed out. All right? You keep it up, you're going to get timed out. All right, so no pressure, right? I mean, it's relatively quick throw. And with the mass protect, it's hard for anyone to really get there. But it's a waffly looking slant here. All right, Blake, you're going on timeout. All right. All right. So the annoying thing here, we don't really have an angle on the slant, right? I assume this is the route combo is just slant, and this guy's just running a crossing route, right? Crossing route, slant, and then guy at the bottom of your screen is also running a slant. And you have Daxton Hill again, one-on-one on a slant. This is something Daxton Hill should win, right? Dax Hill's a 5-star. He should be able to pick up a slant one-on-one. The issue is, again, he has outside leverage here, and I think this is like an alignment issue again, right? Where it's like, if they've hit you this many times with a slant, I would be on it just to like take that away. Just take away the slant. And then if they're going to beat you on the fades, like just second guess themselves, right? Like switch it up a little bit. And just make it tough for the offense, right? Don't let it be an outside leverage every single down and make it easy on these slants, right? Because it's tough. With outside leverage, it's really tough to react to a slant like that. I think Daxton Hill should have done a little bit better job here. I think there's a little bit too much separation. We can't get a good look at his technique here. It's hard to tell. But that's a tough job overall. You think the ball got tipped? It probably could have. Yeah, you could argue that. I think you're probably right. Who is that? 90. Oh, it's Mozzie Smith. Yeah, I think Smith, you're right. Smith might have gotten a finger on that ball. Yeah, he probably did. So that's tough. But I would need to see Daxton Hill on his coverage there. Again, I think that's partially alignment. I think it's partially Michigan overplaying the fades now, and teams are capitalizing on that. And slants are really easy when you have outside leverage for your safeties there. So that's all that one is. Are Big Ten teams adapting to Browns defense? Absolutely they are. Yeah, 100%. Think Hinton is starting to flash? I think Hinton will be a guy. I think he will. He needs to be a little bit more disciplined. I'm questioning Michigan's positional coaching on the defensive line overall. I think Hinton will get there. I think he will. Might not be a star, might not live up to his 5-star hype, but he'll probably get drafted. Like later on. I think he still needs 2 years. Next year he'll be I think would be his breakout if he would have one. Thank you, Dependent Fanatic. Yeah, like the video as well. All right, call to action, right? What do you think about Pay? I'm rendering the next play here. That's why I'm talking to you guys. What do you think about Pay? I've seen 2 mock drafts where he's top 10. Pay is good. Pay is really good. This is a defense that's just not going to be able to showcase his skill set. Pay is worth. He's maybe, I don't know if he's the top rushing defensive end, but like he is strong. He has crazy athleticism. He should absolutely be a first rounder and in the first half of the first round. So I don't think he's overhyped at all. I think he's really, really good, really intriguing. They don't have the athletes. Yeah, I think talent's a huge, huge thing here. Okay, play 12. Oh, I did a bad job. That 12 was kind of cut off at the corner. Oh, well. Don't look at that, guys.
Two-time captain, junior quarterback.
Oh, just as... That's funny. Just as I say that about Pay, he just completely whiffs on this one. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. All right. So this is a good fake, right? So let's look at the crux of this play, as I'll call it, right? You have the running back running out to the flat. You're going to have Ross following him, right? That completely frees up without him here because he has to follow out to the flat on this sort of motion out here, right? That completely removes anyone at the center of your field for the quarterback keep, right? Then you just focus on your quarterback run. It's actually like like a QB power or maybe like a split zone, right? Because you bring this guy across to pick up Pay. Pay just flies in the backfield. It's tough because like you like to see that for Pay. Like boom, he's there. Oh, he just got to be more patient, right? Like he has to know what's coming. So that's really well set up from Clifford. That takes some balls for Clifford, right? Like ooh, like that's scary when you have Pay running at you like that. But he trusts the redirection here. So I think Pay needs to realize what's happening here, right? Like he's. Yeah, like I get it for Pay. Like that's tough, right? He thinks it's going to be a passing, light him up. If he's able to like catch this guy out of the corner of his eye, which is really tough to do. Like that's not realistic. But if he can like break down right here, right? That's like ideal. But that's really tough. Like this fake is there for a reason, exactly to sell this guy if he's coming screaming upfield. So he essentially takes him out of the play here, where 71 is supposed to be responsible for him if he comes and just waits here. Instead, he goes flying up, takes himself out of the play because of a good fake from Clifford, excuse me. Besides that, how else does this play develop? Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, right? 53 gets really, like a really good push on Upshaw. I think I like Upshaw a lot, but he just gives way too much movement. So he comes upfield, 53 with probably the block of the play, just gets him driven here. And then that's pretty much it, right? 73 also gets a block here, but that's a much easier job. So the block that 53 gets on Upshaw is really tough. Upshaw needs to do a better job of playing his feet. He stops his feet, right? Watch Upshaw's feet movement here. He engages, and then he just stops. Like his feet aren't moving, and he's not really engaging with his hands in an effective way. So that movement creates a huge hole. 53 creates that play, as well as 73. He blocks off Mozzie Smith there. But it's obviously just a miss from Pay. If he breaks down, he's in a better position there. And then Reynolds does make the play. I'd like to see Reynolds come up a little bit faster here. I get it. He's breaking down, making the quarterback commit, right? Like at this point, you have either Clifford has to commit to the outside or inside, and then he tackles him. So I'm okay with Reynolds there. I think he did an okay job at the time to break down. But yeah, I mean that's tough again, right? You got 9 yards out of that. So and also, so this was something that actually you could argue helped Michigan because this was called a first down. Okay, this was called a first down, which blows my mind. The ball was spotted at like at the 5-yard line. That knee is down right here. Look at that. Look at that. That's like 6-yard line. Maybe 5.5. But I can't believe they call that a first down. Insane. Insane spot on this one. Okay, what do we got going in the chat? So, bad spot, right? Blake Arnett. Oh, God, what do we have? What do we have going on in the chat? What's happening? Matt Campbell, next Michigan coach. Let's talk at the end for that. When Michigan Washer, Patterson. Hey, Captain Ramus, don't use that language. Do you think there's a lack of talent identification because they said Milton was better than Cade? Okay, let's wait for these questions at the end. All right, I can't address all of these and the defense at the same time. Okay, play 13.
Second down and 10 for Penn State from its 25-yard line.
Slants, man. There was a ton of discussion about this play. Ton of discussion about this play, right? And it's because I don't know if I had it on this one, but it's because you had these safeties. I think there's a safety down here, and then he moved back to behind the sticks here. And I think it's I'm not great at schematics, but I believe they shifted into a cover 2 look where initially they were in cover 1, and that was to defend or to add support for a potential fade on the outside with Gray here in coverage. That's what I think why you had the defensive back here, because they were like in a cover 1 look, and then they shifted back to a cover 2 high look. And that's why I think like that's from what I've gathered from this situation, that's what happened, right? But what do you do there? That leaves you open for a slant. So again, looking at like the pass rush, you can't expect anything to get there, right? So anything that you look at on the pass rush here is just irrelevant because it's just a quick play action slant, right? That's all you got here. So there's like nothing in the pass rush that is relevant when you have that quick of a throw. The issue here is, where is Josh Ross going? Where is he going here, right? Like, I get it. It's play action. This guy is like maybe going out to the flat, but like not at this point, right? You have Josh Ross already getting out here, right? Because technically if this guy goes out, there's no one really, but again, I don't know. I don't know where Josh Ross is going. I don't know where Josh Ross is going, because look how far out he's going here. And then he completely vacates that area, right? Look at the flight path of this ball. This is exactly where Josh Ross was. He's here. He was right here. If he's able to drop into that zone here, then that's a first down. Instead, he shifts out of that area, and that gives the passing lane, right? So there's no reason. If he's able to just get a drop right here, and this is what the running game does, right? The running game just opens this up huge. He's reacted way too much to like any potential give on this outside run. What's happening? Why is mine? Okay. He's just biting way too hard on this, and he's trying to get outside leverage, but instead he needs to wait, right? Wait here, remember your pass responsibility, and then go to the outside. He's not trusting that. And instead he opens up that passing lane, first down, right? What do you do? That's an easy pickup on 2nd and 10. That's just huge. All right, Blake Arnett, I'm you're an Ohio State fan. You're welcome here, but let's try to stick the conversation to the analysis for now. You guys can talk whatever you want, but Arnett, just be respectful. All right, I'm watching you.
Seeing there 45 backing off into coverage, the pass underneath.
This is tough. All right. So this is just tough because, again, the alignment just makes this way too easy. All right, just way too easy. You just have a simple out route here, and you have, like, no one's going to guard this, right? Like, let's watch the routes just at the top of your screen. right? You're gonna have a, oh shoot. I need to render this play. Give me a second, guys. Welcome to Shea Patterson. You're spelling him wrong. But I think he had a few tryouts. No, he's in the spring league. He's playing for the spring league right now. I think he's doing okay, actually. But I haven't watched him a whole lot. But yeah, there's like a spring league of guys not in the NFL. Essentially guys trying to get onto an NFL roster. That's where he is right now. Okay, back to play 14 here. So yeah, that out route, right? The route combo at the top of your screen. You're just going to have like a go route here, then an out route here. And with Gray on single coverage here, Dax Hill is the only guy to come up here. And again, that's just like an easy 5 yards, right? With this area vacated, like this is just a tough ask for your safety to come down to that. You have no one else here either. So again, you're completely negating any sort of pass rush, right? Because like you're throwing this immediately, a quick out, 5 yard out. Like pass rush doesn't mean anything then. And that's just an easy pickup. And then to make matters worse, Gray actually does a really good job here, right? He's actually able to like get his eyes back there, like get off of his initial route there and make contact. Like that's the best he could do at that scenario, but wrap up, right? He's attacking with his shoulders. Like he just gets trucked. And that's a huge difference between a, 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5. Instead, it's a first down. And that's just huge. Those missed tackles, those add up, and they did in this game, right? They absolutely added up in this game. So that's just another, just like alignment mistake, which schematic disadvantage for the players, and then you add in missed tackles, and it's just automatic from that point on, right? So it's like, what are you doing? Like, what are we even doing here? All right. Rendering play 15. Give me a second. What's happening? Oh, I saw an earlier comment I wanted to call out. There's a guy, a Michigan State fan, who likes watching. So welcome. Glad you liked it. Oh, what do we got? It's not just Harbaugh. Mostly it is. Harbaugh hired all the... Yeah, it falls on Harbaugh. You got to, like... Everything comes back to the head coach, whether it's recruiting, position coaches, coordinators. Head coach made those hires, right? Michigan ruined any chance of Patterson of succeeding, good talent, and bad scheme. Yeah. That's its own video. Patterson was good, right? He had like one of the most proficient seasons in a Michigan uniform of any quarterback, like top 5 for sure. He had a really good season. How serious was that injury and how much did that affect his play? Probably quite a bit. Okay, here we go. 15. Play 15.
Showing blitz. Here they come on 3rd down and 6. Clifford steps up, and Clifford has the first down and more. Inside the 35.
This was the play where I was resigned that Michigan was going to lose this game. This was it. This was where I was like, it's over. Like 3rd and 6. Think of how big of a play this is. 3rd and 6. So what went wrong here? I think 1,000% this is a missed stunt. Okay? What I mean by this, look at the responsibilities. Who's 26? Hold on. Let me look up a roster. I don't know who 26 is. Khalil Mullings. I should have known that. Okay. So, what do I mean by it's a missed stunt? All right, let's look at the responsibilities here for the pass rush. Okay, you're going to have Pay come here. He's going to turn inside here. Same with Ross. Come inside here, go inside. Okay, and they're going to have Khalil Mullings go to the outside, right? So watch those 3 guys, right? They're going to take like 3 or 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, boom. They're going to make their cuts inside if you're Pay and Ross. And then you're going to make that cut outside if you're Khalil Mullings. What does that do? Okay, look at what that does to this offensive line. Right, you got 71 here. You got this guy picking up this. You leave this huge gap right here, right? Huge gap. And what's supposed to happen here is, I think it's just a missed call. Instead of Welshoff doing this, instead of him, he's just going to go up this way as well, right? You're having these two guys make deliberate moves inside here to get people to commit to their blocks here because you want Welshoff to take 2 steps and loop around, right? Because then you have Khalil Mullings taking out this offensive tackle as well. So you need Welshoff here, who's a really quick defensive tackle. I really like him in pass rush sets here. You need him looping around here for this open gap. That'd be huge. And that's what creates this gap. It's not because Michigan got blocked wrong. Michigan is executing what they want to do. All 3 of these guys are doing what they're supposed to do. This needs to be a stunt. This gap that they've created successfully by this stunt is not executed. And it's just a miss from Welshoff. Welshoff has to know to do that, right? Because then who else do you have? You have the running back running out here. Obviously, you need Shibley out in the flats to get that. Everyone else is in man-to-man coverage. Everyone's well covered here, too. Everyone is doing a good job. Welshoff just needs to be on a stunt here. And then that takes this gap, right? Because look at, Trace McSorley, you guys in the chat. If you're Clifford, you can't go this way because of where the 2 guys cutting inside are going. They're going to collapse this, and they do if you watch it. They collapse that, right? There's nowhere for Clifford to go to his left. And this is what Michigan wants. They want this pressure, especially good job from Khalil Mullings. He forces Clifford up. If you have Welshoff, instead of fighting this way, if he's right here, redirecting into this gap, that's a sack. 100%. 100%. That's what it's supposed to be. Evan Carson, this is what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to have Welshoff here. Again, you leave that gap open for a backside defensive tackle, in this case Welshoff, because of what you have Pay and Ross doing. If Welshoff is looping here, and because of the outside rush from Khalil Mullings, they all do a good job. All these guys do great. They do a good job in creating this gap to make the quarterback bug out right here. And then you have a free defensive tackle to clean that up. This play worked. This worked. Boom, I have to run out there, except no one's there. Where's Welshoff? It's getting put in the ground. That's it. That's it. It was executed well by everyone except the most important person on that play, and that was Welshoff. He just missed that. And then, you have everyone trying to play catch-up, right? Guys coming off coverage, guys not able to make a play, and that's what makes this from what should have been a sack into now you're down to the red zone? No, 24-yard line? That's just... brutal. So frustrating. I can't tell you how frustrated that was when I first reviewed that. And I forgot about that play. All right, give me a sec. Good plays. What was you watching? I don't know what you're talking about. We never use the strength of our talent. That's an interesting point, Dependent Fanatic. I think Michigan coaches to the best version of their players. What I mean by that, they make decisions both from schematic standpoint and from a personnel standpoint on who plays based on the best version of that player, not the most common version of that player. What I mean by most common, what is the output that player is most likely to have in a given situation? That's what you should scheme around. What is this player most likely to look like? Not what's the best version, because their best version isn't always going to be what they play. Now, it just happens that a guy like Devin Bush plays at the top of his potential almost every play. Joe Milton does not play at the top of his potential. He just doesn't. And I think Michigan makes schematic choices and personnel choices because of that best version. And there's a disconnect between what that best version is in practice. Maybe they're executing at that in practice and what's actually happening in game. And there's a disconnect there. That's my theory. Okay. All right. 16.
With 14 attempts, Holmes with 9. Pass play on 3rd and 3.
This one sucks. This one's tough. All right, again, quick slant, right? So Michigan's like setting the house. Not saying. No, they're only sending 4. What am I saying? It looks like they are. They only send 4. 5 if you get a late rush. But again, you have how many? 1, 2, 3. Let's count. 1, 2. Ooh, that's a bad color for this. Let's do yellow. I'm counting Penn State in yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, 7. And how many rushers for Michigan do you have here? Got 1, 2, 3, 4, late 1, 5. 5 against 7. Right? 5 against 7. Or actually, sorry, 4. 4 initially, and then you have Barrett late. Sorry, that's my mistake. He's falling back into coverage. You have Barrett coming. So 4 against 7, and it's a quick throw. No pressure is going to get there on that. So again, another case where I'm just not going to really bash the pressure. Ross does actually a good job here. All right, look at Ross. Ross has correctly identified this slant, and he's over the top of it. Right, so like this is not a good throwing lane. So Ross is actually in a good position there. The issue is Green gets beat, and this is a tricky route. All right, I don't even know what to call this route. Let's take a look at it. It's like an initial slant. Okay, initial slant, and then the guy stops. Green gets all twisted up in his hips, and then he starts again. So that's a clever little route. I think like a thing that they're probably not teaching them now, right, is like their press coverage, right? They're not getting hands on them right away. If he's able to like get some press here and able to really like push against him here, maybe he can disrupt this, cause a little bit more time. But he's like, this extra little like hitch move gets Green a little bit twisted up. Green was good in this game. All right. This is one of the like rare misses he had. So that just that little hitch there makes Green like plant his feet, kind of stop his movement there. And then that opens up the guy. But so he got there. All right. Like no putting it there. So that's just a guy beating Green on a route. So that's going to happen. That's just frustrating though. I like Jamin Green a lot. I do. I think he's going to be a good player. Obviously rough start to the season, but he has really high upside. He was always going to be a project. He's finally like starting to realize that potential, I think. He could be an NFL guy. I think you could agree that like a year too early. Yeah. It's just strange with Vincent Gray because he was not this much of a liability last year. He wasn't. I believe people outside the program are influenced with which players get recruited. No. Simply, no. There's not a chance people outside the program are influencing that. I just don't think that's how they operate. There's not a chance. In all fairness, Michigan lost 4 offensive linemen. Yeah, Warner is a really good position coach, and he said that this is like the toughest year that he ever had as a position coach. That's tough. You lose 4 offensive linemen. And then if you look at Michigan's starting 5 right now on the offensive line, aren't they all different from what they were projected to be? You have like Zach Carpenter now, who's starting over Andrew Vistardis. You have Keegan playing now. You have Zinter playing now. Almost like everyone because of both injury and just losing a lot of production. There's a lot of youth on the offensive line. I thought they've done really well in pass protection. Run game is tough. It's not good. I'm not going to even say that, but. Okay. Play 17. We're down to our final few plays here. It was a long stream. I appreciate you guys sticking around. All right, I'll get to your question there, Bagel, in a second. Oh, this is a killer. Oh. Man. Just brutal, right? Okay, do we have another angle for this? Let me check. Yeah, okay. Let's do this angle. Okay, let's look. This was defended well. And that's the thing that sucks about this play, right? So again, look at gap integrity here. Okay? Let's look backside. And I haven't actually watched this one. But gap integrity. Okay. Oh, come on. My computer's being weird again. What's happening? Okay. So this defensive tackle, I don't know who this is. This looks like Kemp. I don't know. He's going to take on the double team here, right? These two guys. You're going to have outside leverage. Think this is pay. He's going to have the outside edge here, right? Don't let anything outside of you, right? And then you're going to have Ross looping right here to the backside A-gap. Actually, I think this happened to be the play side A-gap, right? So let's just watch this left side here. Okay? Left side here. Boom. Good job, right? Excellent job on taking on the double team here that occupies two guys. You have Upshaw taking the outside. He does good here. He has everything to the outside. Good job from Ross, right? Ross is there. Ross is that backside A-gap. He is actually there, and he's doing a good job. They have another double team taken on right here, and he does a good job not giving up ground as well, right? 62 and 69. They should get movement here, right? They should be blowing this off the ball. Instead, they don't get a whole lot, right? He's able to stand that up enough with Ross to not give anything there, okay? So you have all these guys, and sorry, this is Kemp here, I think. Yeah. So I think this is Mozzie Smith. Let me go to the other view. Other view. Oh, this isn't even much better. No, this isn't much better. So these guys are doing fine, right? There's not a whole lot of movement right here. Let me go back to the other view. Sorry, this isn't the best angle to really show this play too well. So not a whole lot of movement there. No gaps, right? Look at the point of the handoff here. There's not a whole lot of area for 24 to go, and that's because these guys have not been blown off the ball. They're keeping their heads up. They're staying, they're pointed this way, so they're able to react. They're not getting turned one way or the other. Good gap integrity here. Taylor Upshaw on the backside, holding up to double teams. Everyone is doing really well. And then on the outlet, all right, let's back up and watch the outside on the backside here, right? Because this is essentially where this play wants to go. But you have Shibley replacing right here. He is just off the edge of 71. They're going to have Barrett, who's working upside here, right? Just don't let anything outside of you, okay? So, a couple things here. Barrett should not be doing this, okay? Barrett should be taking on this block and collapsing it, okay? Him going upfield here, like he's taking himself out of the play, right? He's way too far upfield here, and that just gives this sort of cutback possible. Instead, imagine Barrett takes on 86, right? Instead of trying to like lay around him, he takes him on, right? You can stay there, keep your outside arm free, but take him on and just stay there. You know, push back, force him into the backfield. Then the running back's going to try to go this way, and you have your own tight end in the way, right? So him shooting upfield there takes himself out of that play. That's issue number one. Issue number two, Shibley is doing a good job here. And actually, you might be able to call this a hold with how 71 is wrapping his arm around here. I don't know. Hard to say. But Shibley just isn't able to get off of that guy, right? Yeah, you could have maybe called that a hold. Anyway, Shibley's not able to get off that quick enough. So that's kind of a twofold thing where that hurts, where like Shibley has to make that play, right? He has that gap. But you also need to do a better job if you're Barrett, not like running upfield like that and instead taking on the block. He decides to olay it, and that gives outside leverage. Shibley had a chance on the play as well. So that's how important like backside contain is, and taking on blocks instead of running around them. That showed here. So that's just a bummer, right? That's a big miss. Good job from everyone else on the interior. That's just, two guys that, especially Barrett and Shibley, could have done a little bit better there, and that would have forced that play for nothing. Instead, that's a huge pickup. All right, let's render the next one. What are you guys saying? What's up in the mix? Welcome. Do we know McNamara's injury? I don't know. Shoulder. Hard to say. What else? Do you think J.J. McCarthy will start next year? I don't know. That's a loaded question. Probably has the talent, but you need to simplify the offense a bit, right? Guy isn't going to come in and just learn the offense right away. I think he has the talent to, but you need to like build an offense around a freshman quarterback. And I think Michigan just likes to be complicated in a lot of different ways. And I feel like they have a hard time trusting young guys, especially at the quarterback position. So I don't know if it's different regime, possibly. Kate McNamara's injury, lingers and he isn't confident. Could be. If Milton decides his best chance is elsewhere, if McNamara is still leading, you could see it. I don't know. Of a true freshman starting, Jay McCarthy has the best shot of just about any true freshman that Michigan's ever gotten at the quarterback position to start. I think that's like pretty easy to say. Selden has played on special teams. I think punt return. He has not played on defense, to my knowledge. That was huge on Selden. I'm surprised we haven't seen him. Yeah, I'll say this. JJ McCarthy is Michigan's most important recruit of the Harbaugh era, and I don't even think it's close. All right, play 18. Just brutal, man. He's just able to like work through the traffic here. We don't even... Oh, this is a better angle. Never mind. We do have a little bit better of an angle here. So what's the issue here? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember this. So this issue is Ross not able to hold up here. Okay? Like you have a stunt going on here, right? So you have a stunt for Chris Hinton. He's looping around here. And you have Josh Ross coming off of his butt really hard right here to attack the inside shoulder of 53 there, right? That's where he's going. He's going right off the butt, shooting that gap. The issue is he just gets displaced way too far, right? He should be like, sure, knife through that gap, but take on 53. Again, he's trying to like squeeze through here. Instead, he should be like blasting into 53 with all this momentum he has and then continue into the backfield. Instead, he's just trying to like squeeze his way through there. That gives a ton of leverage for 53. Look how off balance Josh Ross is. And look how big of a gap that creates, right? And I think similarly, you have number 70 coming out for Shibley here. He's able to get a lot of leverage on Shibley and contain him. So you combine Ross going too far inside, allowing 53 to block him, and then you have Shibley getting edged out from number 70, and that's it. Because Upshaw is outside contained, and nothing else backside is going to really have an effect on that. Yeah, Josh Ross has not been good. And I think he's really good in certain scenarios. I think they're asking him to do a lot. And when his instincts are good, I think he's in his head. I just think he's in his head. So then what's another issue here? So you have Hinton looping here, and Hinton just gets kind of blown out as well, right? So Hinton is looping here, and he just gets pushed back a little bit. He's not able to get off his block and make the tackle here. That looks like a hold. You should call that a hold. So that's a mishold on Hinton. He's trying to fight off this guy and redirect here. That should be called a hold. Yeah, that guy's holding on to him. Yeah, that's tough. And then the guy just redirects, right? So Hinton should do a better job of staying engaged with that guy. He's trying to fight off, and that's a hold, so that's why he isn't able to fight off. So that's just kind of unfortunate. But Ross on here is the main one. I think Shibley could have done a little bit better. And then the hold from the guy on Hinton, that hurts a lot too. All right, 2 plays. I think the music cut out. All right, 2 plays left, guys. Selden played a couple snaps, did he really? Surprised. I didn't see him. What's happening with this music? It's still going. That's weird.
From the 12-yard line.
Oh. I remember this play. 3rd and 7. This one kills me, man. Okay. Let's look at pass rush first. What's Michigan doing on the pass rush? I think, what is happening? Okay, so it's clear there's like a little stunt between Welshoff here, and then is his pay. He's going to loop around here, right? That's at the top of your screen there. Yeah. So that doesn't get through because, again, you have how many? 5 blocking, 4. But then, like, this is a super sloppy attempt at a stunt here between Kemp and I don't even know who that is. Upshaw. That's just super late. So that's just pretty sloppy from Kemp there. So obviously it's a relatively quick throw, so that doesn't get home. Okay, let's look at routes. Let's look at routes. Weird route tree. What's happening here? Okay. Interesting. All right. Main routes we need to look at are just this like stick route. So it's a slant. And he's going to stick his foot in the ground and head out here. And then you're going to have this guy going out here. I don't know what these guys are doing. It's not really relevant here. The play is always going to go to the right side based off of the first read here. So that's tough, right? This is really tough because, and again, this is what a good offense should do. I'm not even calling Penn State's offense good, but this is what an offense should do, right, in general. So Green passes off his man because he's in his zone here, and he's falling back for the wheel route there out of that running back. The tough part of this play is Reynolds recognizes, all right, this is a slant, right? So he's coming down hard to contest this slant. Instead, this guy's going to say, like, nope, just kidding. And he's going to go back out, right? That's the point of this route. Get the safety to commit to this slant, and then, I'm going to stick my foot in the ground. And that's a tough catch. So give credit to number 5 there. That's, that's tough. So, even against a good safety, I think this gets completed. So, again, that's just taking what the defense is reacting to, right? Slant, 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 slant. So then they're telling their safeties, get down on the slant, right? Get down on that. And then when he goes down and commits to that, his momentum is going hard at that slant, and then that route just beats a slant, right? Beats the reaction to a slant, and that's what that play is. Just a killer on 3rd and 7. That's all that is. All right, last play. Then we can talk some general questions, whatever. Don't call me Greg. How do you watch film like this? Yeah, cleared the linebacker and corner for the cutback. Yeah, I didn't even really mention that the wheel is specifically to clean out the linebacker in that zone to get him out of there. So that's clever. Yeah, like that's just a clever play design, right? I'm not even going to really bash Michigan on that. That's just a clever play design. How do you watch film like this? I mean, I want to know what's going wrong, right? Like that's I got rid of the notion of being an emotional fan, and I was like, what is going on? Like, what's going on with this team? What's going on in general? And that's just kind of how it all started. I was just curious I wanted to be informed about what to complain about. Like that was it. Like, what can I intelligently complain about? And that's why I do this. Okay, last play here.
But it doesn't look like they're in any hurry to stop play, and now Michigan's basically done with no timeouts remaining. Penn State fumbles the ball. Here's Lee breaking free inside.
Brutal, man. Brutal. Oh, this is another great view for this. Yeah, concept of misdirection. That's great. Oh, Greg, I'll share that in a second. Okay, this is the last play. I'll get to that, Greg. I took your question as like a philosophical, like how do you deal with this, not the technology. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Gap integrity again here, right? Okay. So we saw this. This is like a very similar play to before that, again, Michigan does well. All right. This is actually very similar to another play. So let's watch here. Front side. Attack the double team right here, right? You're going to boom, boom, double team, double team. You're going to have Josh Ross replacing to this A gap, right? Outside contain for pay, right? Keep your outside shoulder. Squeeze this in. Don't let anything outside of you. Okay? So let's watch that from those 3. All good. All good. Especially good from Hinton there, right? Watch Hinton olay that guy. Huge. That is huge for him to beat that. And he actually gets 2 gaps there. Right? Look at how that play collapses down because 73 isn't there. You have Ross filling that gap. Hinton just completely olays his guy. You get a lot of room for Pay to collapse that down. And what that does, Pay is like there. And look how much this congests, right? Look how free this gives the movement for Dax Hill to come flying down in this gap. You get a lot of movement here from Pay down, and that disrupts anything coming across here. Again, you gain so much ground simply from that move from Hinton beating that double. You get a free, it makes it easier on Josh Ross to fill that gap. So that's huge. Play side, this is great. Like, that is all you want. That just creates a huge mess. And 86 coming across on this. He has nothing to do there because of the good play from Hinton getting upfield. That's a mess, right? Pay is there to make this play. You also have overhang safety there from Dax Hill. This play is there. And then what happens? Everyone reacts way too much, right? Even backside, they do okay. Like, everyone's doing okay from what I can see. Attack the double, don't get blown off. That goes okay. One-on-one here for Kemp. That goes fine. So the play side is blown up, right? And even everyone in backside is doing okay right now. All right. So what actually happens? What actually happens here? I think what happens here is Shibley just completely abandons what he should be doing, right? Because of the motion they have from Kemp going here. Shibley's responsible. We saw this earlier, too, on a play that he didn't make on the edge. But anyway, he has this gap here because I think this guy should be attacking the outside of 84 here as well, right? Yeah, technically. He's getting blown off. That's a bad job from whoever's on the edge. So that's also huge. All right, look how far that guy is displaced. Okay, so that's twofold. That's twofold. You have Shibley, like, not taking his assignment right here, fill this gap. Then you have this guy losing his block. Let's like that's bad, right? So those two guys abandon their post there. And then you also have Hunter Reynolds, who's also moving way too much here. He's also here. He should be, again, parallel here. He should be shuffling, right? Shuffle. This is where the play is looking like it's going over on this side. But you have plenty of guys here, right? Trust that. What's your responsibility? Backside. Same with Shibley. What's your responsibility? Right here. What's his responsibility? He should be like maybe backing off a little bit, maybe right here. Instead, they're both turning and running this way. Combine that with a good block from 84, and your backside contain is completely gone. Look, when 24 decides to cut back here, all the momentum for Shibley's headed this way. All the momentum for Reynolds headed this way. You have no one on contain. And that's it. Do your job. Do your job. And they didn't. And they get, there's no contain. It's just not there. And that's what enables this play to be big. That's it. That's Michigan's defense this game. It's tough. Okay. All right, that's 20 plays. Let me shift just to my back. Oh, okay. How do I do this? Okay. I'll answer your question now. Who was it? Greg. How do I watch film like this? Okay. What do? I use Premiere Pro. Okay. So this is just a single part of Premiere Pro. All right. Let me bring this over. So this is usually what I edit with, right? I can scrub through film here. I cut the different plays here. You can see all the different plays. But you can also just like move different panels around, whatever. So what I do on my right monitor here, I move this over with the timeline. You can see how when I scrub through the timeline that like goes forward and backward. So I do that on like a given play, right? I have the play with the audio, and then I have it rewinded, and then I have my angles here, right? So then I can scrub through the play, right? So I move this to the other screen. Then what I do, I move this, just the preview window, over here, okay? So then I can still scrub through on the right monitor while I'm looking at my left monitor what the play is happening. Another key aspect of this is this little tool. It's called Epic Pen. And this is what allows me to draw on top of anything. And I have different keyboard shortcuts to change the color. I can clear the screen with the keyboard shortcut, and then I can hide it, right? Because it'll draw over anything, so I need to actually hide the application as well. So that's pretty much it. That's how it works. Lots of legwork ahead of time to prepare the actual plays, and then lots of legwork to like edit the replays as well in a way that makes sense, and then just some prep work ahead of time otherwise. Okay, guys. I'm going to answer some questions for like 15-ish minutes, but subscribe, all right? Throw a like on it if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't. Throw a like on it too. Where are we at? I don't even know how to check this. How many likes are we at? $42 likes. Let's get that to 50. Can we get to 50 likes? Let's shift this over to my fancy background. There we go. How's that? And then ready for this? I need to get my green screen a little bit better. And then ready? Boom. Big face. Okay, guys. Let's see. What questions do we have here that I can answer? Hope that answered your question, Greg. Do you think there's a lack of talent identification because they said Milton was better than Cade and Haskins was not even going to get a run until Zach got injured at Army last year? I think, and going back to my previous statement, I think Michigan plays the guys that they think have the best. How am I going to say this? They play guys who have the highest ceiling, or they play guys who have the highest potential that they show in practice. And I think that goes for Zach Charbonnet. I think that goes for Milton, right? When they really shine, they really shine. And I think they're too skewed for that. Now, do I think that, like, it's not always a problem, right? Like, if your players are able to play at that more often than not, then you have a star. But I think, I don't know. That's hard to say too, because then they're playing guys like Jess Spate, right? And there's no way he's flashing more than Mozzie Smith. At least I wouldn't think so. Or guys like Shibley over the freshmen. So I guess it's kind of like twofold. I think they really like potential of players at key positions like quarterback and running back. But they also like guys who, I don't know. I don't know. That's my like thought. Like that's what I think. Don't call me Greg. How often do I do these live? This is my first one live on YouTube. I tried one on Twitch. I think I like YouTube more just because that's where all my videos live anyways. So generally that's what I like. But I might be doing these weekly. It's a lot easier to just do it live than have to go through each play and edit it. It's kind of like a hassle. I'd rather get it all done live. If Michigan doesn't fire Jim Harbaugh and they instead tell him to clean house, who do you think they bring in? I like Nick Sheridan from IU as new offensive coordinator. I don't know about that. I don't know. Honestly, that's something I haven't looked at offensive coordinators lately, and I honestly have just been kind of dialed in on Michigan, so I'm not going to answer that. I don't know a whole lot of good offensive coordinators right now. Do you think Charbonnet is a better back than Haskins, but doesn't get used consistency? That's a good question. I like Corum the most let me back up. I think Haskins is the most efficient running back right now because vision is really important with a young offensive line that is missing assignments. Vision, balance, those are things that are really important for this running attack with where the offensive line is at right now. If you take a really, like this healthy version of Charbonnet or Corum in last year's offense, like with those guys who are getting their assignments, I think those running backs feast. A healthy Charbonnet, a healthy Corum, those guys absolutely demolish last year. They are absolutely 1,000-yard backs if they're healthy. So I think that's a huge issue. Just because like their skill sets, they're really skilled, but they don't have like the vision that Haskins does. Haskins' patience to find the hole, that's what's needed in this offense right now for the running game. And that's what he provides that I think is better than Corum and Charbonnet at this point. Where else are we at? Excellent breakdown. Biggest question, really, how do they fix it? Not this year. Who do you think the top candidates for defense coordinator? Again, I haven't been paying attention to coordinators. I don't know that. Harbaugh going to Detroit? I could see it. I could see that. Do you think we should fire Don Brown? If yes, who should be hired? Also, should they hire Charles Woodson, defensive backs coach? Because I think that would be a great hire. Charles Woodson has never been a coach. All right? He just hasn't. I really, really like Zordich as a position coach. I think he's put enough guys in the league. He has my trust, just like Warner does. So I don't think you should get rid of the current defensive backs coach. I think they're gonna have to fire Don Brown just because just because of his performance against Ohio State. He had top 10 S&P Plus. If you look at the advanced metrics, Don Brown has had top 10 defenses at Michigan every single year. Despite the Ohio State performance, he's had top 10 defenses. The issue is this year is a huge drop-off. I think they're like 50 or 60th overall in the S&P Plus now, which is huge drop-off, which just can't happen. That trajectory is huge. And then you add in 2018 Ohio State game and 2019 Ohio State game. There were some like big games. I remember the one that got absolutely destroyed against Penn State defensively. Those big games are ones you can't have as defensive coordinator, and he's had too many of those, especially against Ohio State, where I don't see how they keep him. I just don't see it. I think he's a good coordinator. I think he needs to like switch up his scheme a little bit more. I think he's been scouted enough and hasn't had enough adjustments and recruited really poorly at key positions. Matt Campbell, I might do a separate video for Matt Campbell. They play experience over talent a lot of the time. That's fair. Basically, pretty much. That's a username. I think they play experience over talent. Yeah, I think that could be it. I think they really value experience a whole lot. Minimizing mistakes, right? That's a huge thing, especially defensively, that they play a lot of guys. How do you minimize mistakes? That's something they really value, I think. Let's see. Haskins is best if used properly. He's the best right now, I would say, with how the offense is looking and the offensive line especially. Yeah, it's hard to dispute that. Problem with Brown is he doesn't match the offense personnel. What do you mean by that? Every coach knows if a team comes out with 4 wide receivers, you bring in 5 DBs. I'm like 2 hours behind. I'm at the starting point. Please upload this review. This should be uploaded. I'm also recording it on my local computer here. I don't know why I said local computer. I'm also recording it, so not just live streaming it. But yeah, that it will be live. You guys are great. Do we really have 140 concurrent viewers right now? That's pretty awesome. We're close to 50 likes. All right, let's get there. Could you do a video on problems with the Gaddis offense? I'm pretty strapped on time, Greg. Pretty strapped on time. You got Michigan basketball tomorrow night. You got hockey tomorrow night as well. I'll be doing recap videos for those. Maybe. I'll say maybe. It depends. Maybe if this game on Saturday is canceled, maybe I'll do offense. But we'll see. It's not as hard on offense, right? It's like offensive line is struggling to block in the run game. You had a quarterback who was hurt, who is limited to throwing under 5 yards, and a quarterback in Milton that they only had like 3 passes with, right? So I think the offense is less interesting because it's pretty obvious what's wrong with it. I also think speed and space concept is not working. They miss the tall, big guys like DPJ, Nico Collins, Tariq Black. Everything revolves around run game, right? We saw that against Rutgers. Once Haskins started going a little bit, you have more guys in conflict where they're like biting on the run game a little bit more. The run game just opens up a whole lot. It's hard to live on RPO when you're constantly in second and long and third and long, and your run game allows you to have second and long and third and long. Or I'm sorry, a good run game allows you to avoid second and long and third and long. So it's really hard to have a read-heavy offense when you're consistently put in passing down situations. So it's tough to leverage those sort of offensive concepts without an established run game. Defenses won't respect it. Do we have a problem with getting separation? Hard to say. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched like a whole lot of like just strictly wide receiver play. I think I focus more on blocking. I mean, with how many shifty guys Michigan has, I don't think separation from wide receiver has been an issue. I don't think so. Like, I think Michigan's pretty good on that. I think like contested balls, Michigan maybe has had an issue or not enough opportunities for guys to do that. I mean, you're lacking height, so you're not going to really scheme that as much in general. Why don't we run trick plays? It makes me think Harbaugh is way too conservative. You can't run trick plays if you don't run your base plays correctly, right? Like when you have an offensive line that has been shifting a lot because of injuries, because of different things, when you're trying to ramp up on that and get them up to speed, you're focusing on drilling the things that you need to run to have an established offense before you can spend time on your trick plays. That's just my take. Wildcat pass versus MSU that everyone cried about. Is that a response, Ryan, to someone? Cornelius Johnson is good, Bagel. Crispy Bagel. He's good. He's good. Michigan just hasn't had a good enough passing attack really to use him as much as they should. But I mean, he's been quietly like a really good player for Michigan. Do you think Gaddis' scheme could win a championship? Absolutely. I think absolutely it could. I think last year there were a lot of growing pains with him, just in the play calling overall. This year I think it's a personnel problem. When you're replacing 4 offensive linemen. Again, this isn't like an excuse. Like if you can't appropriately replace your offensive line, like sure, that's on you, right? Have some more experience, have some more depth there to replace that. But you can still, like, if Michigan had a couple games this year to ramp up against lesser opponents, right? Those like MAC opponents, those guys like Arkansas State, you could see them starting to like, you know, sort of like gather an identity. You didn't really have that this year. They didn't have the time in the offseason. And that's, again, like you work with what you got. But to like dispel that or not take that into account, I think like you have to. But yeah, with the right personnel, I think Gaddis' scheme could definitely win a championship. Thank you, Fanatic. Definitely subscribe if you guys can, if you like it. I'll be going for another 10 minutes here. What positions do you think is our most important? Quarterback, obviously. On offense, I think